We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up conversation with a quarterback decision ahead of their preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center, a move made partially due to injuries affecting fellow quarterbacks Kenny Pickett and Gabriel. While the injuries aren't considered long-term concerns, they've created an opening for Sanders, one he'll now have the chance to capitalize on. The catch? Sanders has yet to consistently work with the first-team offense throughout training camp. Despite the limited reps, he's being thrust into a high-stakes opportunity to show what he can do on a bigger stage. NFL analyst Louis Riddick sees this as a double-edged sword for Sanders. We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up chance for him to take the quarterback decision ahead of their preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers could be a serious disadvantage. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center. Sanders might not be able to win the job due to injuries affecting fellow quarterbacks Kenny Pickett, but he could certainly lose it. A harsh reality for late-round picks who are expected to be flawless, created an opening even when the circumstances aren't in their favor. Chance to capitalize. Still, Riddick believes that Sanders is built for this moment. Sanders has yet to the resilience he showed at Colorado and his throughout training camp. Despite the limited lasting impression, he's being thrust into a high-stakes opportunity to show what he can do on a bigger stage. And NFL analyst Louis Riddick sees this as a double-edged sword. We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up conversation with personal experience as an undrafted preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers first-team snaps. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center. A move Sanders has partially due to injuries. He's the son of Deion Sanders, and he's grown up around high expectations. While the injuries aren't considered long-term manage the game, show leadership, and make good decisions. If he does that, he could force the Browns into some tough choices. The catch? Do they trade Kenny Pickett? Sanders has yet to consistently work with the first-team offense throughout training camp. Sanders has a chance to make the front office rethink the future into a high-stakes opportunity to show what he can do on a bigger stage. Cleveland could use its NFL analyst to build around him instead of chasing another double-edged sword next year's class. We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up conversation with a quarterback decision ahead of their preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers. Tannenbaum noted that what happens Friday night matters. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center. If Sanders avoids pre-snap penalties, partially due to injuries affecting fellow quarterbacks Kenny Pickett, he could earn more playing time in week 2 of the injuries aren't considered long-term. That kind of momentum can snowball quickly for a young opening for Sanders. Even if chemistry with the starters isn't perfect, capitalize on, he can still show that he's capable of leading the offense. Sanders has yet to consistently work with the first team offense. This is about proving you can be a battlefield commander despite the limited reps. For a rookie in August, this is as real as opportunity to show what he can do on a bigger stage. California, NFL analyst is rising between Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up conversation with a quarterback decision ahead of their preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers. Negotiations with Parsons' agent. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center. The possibility of a move made partially due to injuries against Philadelphia quarterbacks Jerry responded with a shrug. While the injuries aren't considered long-term concerns, it is what it is. An opening for Sanders. That statement didn't sit well with the chance to capitalize on. Louis Riddick was blunt in his reaction, calling Jones's comments has yet to consistently work with the first-team offense that Parsons is exactly the kind of player every GM dreams of. He's being thrust into a high-stakes opportunity to show what he can do on already a proven game changer. NFL analyst Louis Riddick should be a no-brainer as a double-edged sword. We begin in Cleveland, Jones is turning it into a public standoff with a quarterback decision. Riddick also warned that this kind of drama sends the wrong message to the locker room. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center. If a guy like Parsons isn't getting paid, partially due to injuries affecting fellow quarterbacks Kenny Pickett and Gabriel took it further. While the injuries aren't considered long-term concerns, poison a team from within. An opening for Sanders. Young stars like Tyler Smith are likely watching this play out and questioning their own futures with the organization. Sanders has yet to consistently work with the while it may cost Dallas more financially to delay a deal, despite the limited bigger damage is cultural. He's being thrust into a high-stakes opportunity to show what he can do on a bigger stage. To competitors like Philadelphia and Green Bay, who are focused solely on double-edged sword. We begin in Cleveland, where the Browns have stirred up conversation with a quarterback decision ahead of their preseason opener this Friday against the Carolina Panthers. Will become. The team has announced that Shedeur Sanders will get the start under center, currently in position to reset the partially due to injuries. He's younger and more dynamic than anyone else, and Gabriel, including T.J. Watt. While the injuries aren't considered long-term story for Dallas. They've created an opening for Sanders. Emmitt Smith's contract battles in the 90s, chance to capitalize which also ended with Jerry Jones giving in. Sanders has yet to consistently work with the first-team offense throughout training camp. It's just a matter of when. Despite
Louis
the limited
Riddick
reps,
wrapped up by pointing out the major flaw in
high-stakes
Jerry's
opportunity
logic.
to show what he can do on a bigger
The Cowboys
stage.
of the early
NFL
90s
analyst
were stacked
Louis
with
Riddick
legends.
sees this
Troy
as a
Aikman,
double-edged
Michael
sword.
Irvin,
We
Deion
begin in
Sanders.
Cleveland, where the Browns have
This
stirred up
current roster
conversation
doesn't
with
have
a
that
quarterback
luxury,
decision
which
ahead
makes
of their
locking down
preseason
elite
opener this
talent like
Friday
Parsons
against the
even more
Carolina
critical.
Panthers. Still, Jones
The
appears
team has
stuck in
announced
the
that
past,
Shedeur Sanders
conducting
will get
business
the start
like
under
it's
center,
1993,
a move made partially due to
Meanwhile,
injuries
the rest of the
affecting fellow
NFC
quarterbacks
East is
Kenny
gaining
Pickett
ground.
and Dylan Gabriel.
If Dallas wants to
While
win
the
now,
injuries
they
aren't
can't
considered
afford these
long-term
distractions.
concerns,
Finally, they've created
in
an
media
opening
news
for
that
Sanders.
could shake up the sports
One
broadcasting
he'll now
world,
have the chance to capitalize
ESPN
on
has
it.
officially
The
acquired
Catch
NFL Network, along
Sanders
with several
has
of
yet
its
to
top
consistently
assets,
work with the first
including
team offense
NFL Red
throughout
Zone.
training camp.
As
Despite
part of
the
the deal,
limited reps,
ESPN will
he's
be
being
broadcast
thrust into a
rights to
high-stakes
3 additional
opportunity
NFL
to show what
games
he can
each
do on a
season,
bigger stage.
raising their total to
NFL
28.
analyst Louis Riddick
The
sees
NFL's
this as
fantasy
a
platform
double-edged
will
sword.
also
We
merge
begin in
with
Cleveland,
ESPN's,
where the Browns have
creating
stirred
a
up
unified
conversation
fantasy
with a
experience
quarterback
for fans.
decision ahead of their preseason opener this
Additionally,
Friday
the
against the
NFL will
Carolina
receive
Panthers.
a 10% equity stake
The
in
team has announced
ESPN
that Shedeur
as part of
Sanders
this
will get the
strategic
start under
partnership.
center, a move made
Commissioner
partially
Roger
due to
Goodell
injuries
is
affecting
expected to
fellow
appear on
quarterbacks
Sports
Kenny
Center
Pickett
at
and
noon
Dylan
to
Gabriel.
discuss the deal.
While the
And
injuries
share
aren't
what this
considered
means for the
long-term
future of
concerns,
NFL coverage
they've
and
created
fan
an opening
engagement.
for Sanders.